Welcome to another exciting episode of the Neville Goddard podcast. My name is Mr. 2020, and I want to thank you for listening, for taking a few moments, for investing in you. For those of you who invest in yourselves with supporting the project, we really appreciate that. And we also want to thank you for sharing the show, subscribing, and all that stuff. Your comments, your emails, seriously. Can you hear why I get out of bed? This is good stuff. Let's dive in. Today we're going to dive into a little chat that I had with a Manifesting Mastery course member. And you're going to love this. And when you get that, you can give up all your control issues. You're going to discover that you are the conductor of the orchestra. Let's make music. Let's dive in. Faith is an experiment which ends as an experience. Experiment by believing you already have all that you desire, and you will have the experience. Test yourself like my friend did. He experimented with the thought that the lady had a wonderful boyfriend. He then imagined hearing her tell him about the new man in her life. Then his experiment became her experience. Then his experiment became her experience. This is so cool. This is mind-boggling. This is life-changing. Because, let me give you a little example. So I was talking with an MM member this past week. I have been having so much fun pseudo-randomly reaching out to MM members when they send me their updates saying, "Do you got 2 minutes? Let's have a quick chat." And having these wonderful quick chats. And one of them that showed up this week was with a fella who's on day 27. Don't quote me on that, though. But about day 27. And he tells to me, I totally get it. My cousin was a city controller, and he was always stressed out. His job was literally to control the city, right? You know, where the money goes. Right, making sure shit gets done. I don't understand what a city controller is. And he goes, this is not about controlling. This is about conducting. Now, Mr. Day 27, he happens to be a musician. And he says, feeling it real, the way that you teach it, what you do is you invite us to experiment and to explore. And I'm digging this. I'm loving hearing him tell me this because he continues to tell me, you teach us how to experiment and how to explore. You invite us to experiment and explore where we haven't, where we couldn't, where we didn't know we could. Meanwhile, I'm thrilled about this because when you experiment and when you explore, you discover that you're not the controller, you're the conductor. And I want you to notice how deep this goes. Because it's not your job to control everything, how it happens, when it happens, who does what, who says what. Your job is to not control all that. Your job is to conduct. You can't even control your body. I want you to think about this. You have no control over your ankle. You walk, your ankle takes care of business. We explore that in Triple D in some cool ways. But people bend their arm and they say, look, Mr. 20, I can control my body. I can bend my bicep. I said, well, actually, you can contract your bicep and move your arm. But there's thousands of other things going on while you're doing that you don't have a clue about. But somehow you take care of. Because whenever I reach for the coffee cup and I take a sip, I don't control all that stuff in my body. I simply conduct. I'm a conductor. You know, the cool guy who waves the wand around and people play all those instruments. Now, I've never talked to a real-life conductor, but I'm willing to bet that there's not one conductor on the planet that plays all those instruments, especially at the level that the people in the orchestra do. Right? Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe there is one conductor on the planet, but they all can. But I got to tell you something. I realized, right, when Mr. Day 27 tells me, you're teaching us to experiment, you're teaching us to explore, and then we dove into this quote. Because it's the invitation. It really is about giving up all your control issues. Whenever you start giving up your control issues, You realize that you're here to conduct the most wonderful orchestra ever. You do it with your body without realizing it. You think about it. How many of your breaths are you actually aware of? I think it's in a matter of 4 to 5 months, the average person breathes 1 million times. You've had 1 million breaths in the past 4 to 5 months, and you're aware of almost none of it. When you walk, you're almost blissfully unaware of what all the bones in your feet are doing. Unless you injure your foot or you get gout or something. I talk to people at the pool. Oh my God. You become very aware of the simple things. Meanwhile, let's just disregard that. Because people get fixated on pain and they want to fix, and they get fixated on not having it happen again, and they want to get in control. And I'm here to tell you what Neville shared, right? Neville shared this. Every desire has its own plan and power of fulfillment. Every desire does. Not every problem. When you're looking for solutions to a problem, problems don't have their own plan and power. Problems are problems. You never notice when you start thinking about problems and thinking from problems, you start having problems with fixing the problems. But what if this goes wrong, Mr. 20? What if that goes wrong? I would take manifestingmasterycourse.com, but it's a 90-day program, and who knows where we'll be in 90 days. You know, there's a lot of world events going on. Yeah, they've been going on forever. Meanwhile, Victoria and I, we are retaking Manifesting Mastery course. We're right in the middle. We're finishing up Pearl Week right now, the Pearl of Great Price, having a great time, great discussions. And here's one of the things that we notice, right? 10 years ago, plus, like we made that program over 10 years ago. You know what was going on in the world? Problems. Honest to God, same problems, different day. And there are people that made excuses back then, and they're probably still making excuses now. On the other hand, you can shoot for excellence. What if you were the excellent conductor of the orchestra? You wouldn't have to be the city controller, focused on numbers, focused on problems, focused on making sure everyone gets everything done on time. You could actually enjoy life. You ever notice how much fun a conductor has? I do remember growing up. I grew up in this little town called Scottdale. When I was a teenager, I worked for the, one summer I worked for the city, well, the town. I was one of 5 poor kids helping out the street department. And I watched this guy, Barry. He was the town controller. I guess they called him the city controller, so he felt good about himself. But Barry was the most stressed out individual I've ever seen. So, do you want to play with control and have issues, or do you want to enjoy conducting the orchestra and exploring where you haven't? If you got gold today, manifestingmasterycourse.com. That's right, manifestingmasterycourse.com. It's a 90-day program. It's $97. It's a lot of fun. Oh, I gotta tell you. It takes about 10-15 minutes a day total every day. It's the backbone of all we do. So if you got gold from the podcast, let's dive in. manifestingmasterycourse.com, and give up those control issues. Just discover you are what gives life. You are the conductor of the orchestra. Have a lovely day. Thank you for listening. Dive deeper, soar higher. Have a great day.